Hello everybody, this Buddy here in Midland. I got an interesting story for you today. I'm in my bathroom, this master bathroom. Directly behind me is the shower. And that's kind of important to the story because this morning I took a shower and I got out of the shower and I come in here into my bedroom, okay? And I had the blinds open. There's an alley in the back of Home Depot there, wall, whatever. And I look over there and I see a truck, and I'm gonna show you a video of it here in a minute. And I thought it looked like a camera on top of it, so I zoomed in, and I want to show you how close this is, how close I am. There's a loading door to Home Depot right there. I just stepped out my back door, and I can show you here. And here in a minute, this is all gonna be more important. I'm gonna walk down here just a few feet to where my backyard is. This is where it looks like on Google Maps that the underground home is here in the backyard right here, and we're going to see that here in a minute. You're going to see this line of trees right here, and all of a sudden there's a missing tree right there where that telephone pole is, and I don't know if you can see that wire that's hanging down there. I'll try to zoom it in for you. There's a wire, that's a Suddenlink coax wire that goes underground, and nobody's ever been able to say where it goes. It's believed it went to the underground homes here. Of course, there's that water well in the backyard over there. Suspected tunnel entrance was over there, is now removed. And so I'm gonna go back inside and I'm gonna show you this truck, and a Facebook post today is real interesting. So anyways, I get out of the shower, you know, don't have any clothes on, right? And look out my blinds and I see this 18-wheeler parked over in the trucking lane. And of course, that's where they park to unload or whatever. But I look and I'm like, is that, a camera on top of that truck right there looking in my window, you know? And that's when I made this video right here. And I posted it. I'll go ahead and just full screen that.
Is that a camera in the back of that truck right there, that 18-wheeler behind Home Depot? If it is, they're looking right inside my window. You know, I just got out of the shower, you know, walking around, you know, no clothes on, but of course, this home's broken into.
Okay, so anyway, I posted that on Facebook this morning, and it had whatever 300 views or whatever, and a Facebook friend, Jody, says that's for a satellite for a TV, and I'm like, I've never seen a satellite dish that wasn't parabolic, which I hadn't, you know. He says, yeah, I have one similar on my RV, and I've seen, you know, and I tell him I've seen many cameras with them, you know, tinted domes, and I went and looked one up and posted a picture of it. And Susan says, wow, that's still weird, Jody. And Jody says, this one is also 4 inches and whatever. And I said, what's the brand name of what the one you got? And I'll go look it up. And that, you know, that way we could see if it looks the same, you know. And he says Dish Tailgater Pro. And so I go look it up, and we go, well, that looks like it, you know, similar. I mean, it's different, but it's similar. That, so I guess they do make them for trucks, and you know, and you know, and I said, he said that's the one I have, the one I took a picture of, you know, and you know, and so it still could be a camera. We don't know, you know, because I've seen many dome cameras like that, you know. And so anyway, I start talking about this trucking lane. This secluded trucking lane seems to be so important to the crimes here, and that's a big part of this video. My next post says, I took this picture back in 2017 because I thought these two trucks looked suspicious, parked next to the two side-by-side manholes and the now removed live tree. I think it's the same truck, and I'm gonna explain more about the now removed live tree and the side-by-side manholes, which is I always think is odd. But the reason I took this picture back was because they were parked right there where the missing tree is and where the two side-by-side manholes were, and there were two 18-wheelers parked there, and they wasn't unloading freight. And this one, see the gold writing on the back of the black truck? It looks like the same truck I took a picture of this morning. Of course, I don't have a camera on it now, on that one. And so, but I'm going back and going, oh, I think that's the same exact truck. Under that, I said, this is where those two trucks were parked. The lid to the west manhole was left off for several years, around the time I was ambushed and shot. I would hear and see vehicles pull up there. People would get out of their vehicle, and then I would hear people in my attic a little bit later. I figured the tree being taken out was a cover-up. And, of course, I couldn't see because of the fence, but I could see the lights at nighttime on the wall. So I knew a car was there. I could hear the engine. I could hear the car doors opening and shutting. And they were parking right here, right where these two side-by-side manholes are. And here I'm showing, here's the west one, and about 6 foot away is the east one. Okay, that's weird. You got two manholes side by side. And here, there used to be a tree right there, but now the tree's missing. Okay, and that's what I'm showing down here too, that the tree is missing. But here a couple years ago, we was driving by and noticed that somebody took blue paint and marked this right here like there was a tunnel underneath there, And so for some reason, that curb got marked right where that west manhole was. And the west one seemed to be more important, I thought, because that's the one the lid was left off of for a couple years. Okay. In my research years ago, I found this, I think on the city site. This is the oldest sat map that I found, and it showed what looked like a ditch cut in my backyard. And when I extended it out, it looked like it would connect to the west manhole, which is the one that had the lid off for several years. Okay, and so I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to back this off. This is my home over here. I was shot on that side of my home. And what I was looking at is right here. It looks like a ditch had been cut right there. And so I project that out, and it goes right where that west manhole is. That's what it looks like. And in this backyard's where it looks like the underground facility is now. Now, this is a really old map, like there's a shed here that's not even there. This was way before I ever moved here. It's even before this suspected tunnel entrance was put in here, and that was put in somewhere in 2008, 2009. So that's how old this is. And then I'm also pointing out the concrete blocks on this corner of my house, the cinder blocks that are buried right there. It's always been real odd, and maybe they're connected to there. Okay, and so possibly, that's what I'm saying. The people in the attic look like they're going down tunnel, going over, meeting the truckers through, and that's why the lid was left off the manhole. And then 30 minutes, an hour later, they come back, and they come back up here, and they're running like a truck stop, 24/7 sex trafficking business. Of course, and you try to stop them, they'll kill you, and it's not even their home, right? Okay, so I took this picture, the next post, that had the lid off for several years, and I emailed it to then Chief of Police Bryce Robinson in 2012, right after I was ambushed and shot. And I wondered, he never replied. I wondered if he was connected to the removal of the live tree that's sitting next to it as in a cover-up. Okay, so there's a picture I took in 2012 and sent, and in a Freedom of Information request, the police could go look in Bryce Robinson's email and show that I sent this picture to him in 2012, right after I was ambushed and shot. Because I felt like it was connected to the tunnels, the crimes, etc. This is one of the secret security camera pictures of the secret police, where they got caught on camera. And this was actually the second entry. This was on February 1st, 2012. The first entry was January 29th, 2012, and that was the one they withheld the police report for 7 years. I was never supposed to know about, and they tried to disable this camera and accidentally started and didn't know it. And so they got caught, on camera and never knew it. And that's the only reason we ever found out they were here on that first night, is because of them security camera pictures. And then that's where they got named the secret police. They offered a reward, 6 years of death threats, and people trying to talk me out of moving out of my home. It goes by. But this second entry, I'm going to show you a picture. The camera's still working, okay? And this is when they come in, and this was what I used to call the only known entry, the official entry, after they had staged the crime scene on the first night. The only person seen in both sets of pictures was Rosie Rodriguez, the grade school friend of the ex-wife's alleged to be involved in the murder attempt, right here. And in this picture, at February 1st, 2001, at 10:10 in the morning, she is pointing up here on my security monitor right to where that tunnel entrance is. And I've got a little caption that I made that up. It says, and our secret tunnel entrance is here. Like she's telling her friends in the room, yeah, this right here, this is where they people in the attic go meet the truckers or whatever, And so here's a Facebook friend, and she goes and looks up them satellite dishes and a dome thing, and then I comment under that, okay? And I say, there's no way to know unless somebody pulls the dome off that and looks. But that secluded trucking lane has been suspect for a long time. For many years, it was like a truck stop with trucks lining up and nobody unloading freight. They would come and go 24/7, and many times when the store was closed. Back then, it wasn't manned around the clock. That all changed when I started making videos and posting on Facebook, and then the live tree was taken out there around around the same time frame as when the other suspected tunnel entrance was removed from the neighbor's backyard. Lawlessness has been the biggest problem and not finding evidence. Google Earth tells me when that live tree was taken out over there, and somebody should be asking questions about that. Okay, so you go to Google Earth, download it. You can look at historical pictures. Okay, and so they're dated. See here, this one's plane flew over 3/31/08. We look there in that backyard, there's no suspected tunnel entrance right there, okay? And the tree is still there, okay? And then, but the next one here, on December 5th, 2009, the suspected tunnel entrance is in the backyard of that neighbor's home, and the tree's still there. Okay, here, and this October 2nd, 2014, suspected tunnel entrance is still in the backyard of that next door neighbor's home, tree's still there, but by April 28, 2016, the suspected tunnel entrance is gone, and the live trees removed, and that was the other suspected tunnel entrance. And even on this picture, you see an 18-wheeler parked right here next to where the two side-by-side manholes were, and the loading door is over here, right? You know, why would a truck park over here next to these manholes when the door's over here to unload, you know? And that's what I was saying. And it wasn't a one-time thing. It was over and over and over and over, day after day after day. You're seeing this, okay? And so you can go look at these maps, and it tells us, especially on the suspected tunnel entrance here in the backyard of that neighbor's house, when it was put in, the time frame, which is around the time the last homeowner died, and I moved in as the next unsuspecting victim. And then it's taken out in this 2014, 2016, actually 2015, we're going to learn in a minute, time frame. And so law enforcement should be asking who took it out, why, when, all that, because I think we're going to find out it's connected to this house and these crimes. Ashley says, wow, that tunnel thing is crazy, right? And it really is, you know. And so here we go. I say, based on things people have said and evidence found, I've suspected the people that were going to the underground oil show parties in the $1 million 3-bedroom underground homes here were parking in the Home Depot parking lot and then going underground somewhere in that store before coming over here via that tunnel. A clerk at Home Depot told me one time, if you happen to see a lot of cars in the parking lot late at night, then it's because we're stalking. I hadn't seen that, nor had I thought about it, but it makes sense that a lot of people would need a lot of parking, plus they would need an excuse. Or stalking, okay? So here's the Home Depot store. Here's this big old parking lot, and, you know, that's where she says, you see a lot of cars in the parking lot late at night because we're stalking. I hadn't seen it. She just offered that up like a clue, okay? Behind their building, where the ground was cut, you can see the color difference right there. That's where it's suspected the tunnel was at. That was aimed directly at my home, okay? And of course, I'm shot right here. Somebody under my home shoots me. And then now it's believed that there's underground, one of the 4 3-bedroom underground homes in the backyard right here. And that's where they were having the oil show parties, okay? At and of course 2010 oil show parties when my friend was there and they murdered that little girl there. And in 2013, the remains of a little girl were found outside of Midland, okay? Here just down the road is the Fairmont Park Church of Christ, and right there is the Midland Target store. And this shows the date of this, when this Google Maps picture is taken, which is June 16, 2011, and I was shot in January 2012, okay? So that's pretty much what it looked like when I was shot. Okay. Last year, I met with Homeland Security last year, and we went behind Home Depot so I could show them where I suspected the tunnel was, and 2 weeks later, the ground was dug up and concrete was poured there. It's been suggested they were tampering with evidence to cover up multiple murders and obstruct justice in the capital murder attempt on my life. I have a video on that called Met with Homeland, and now they're pouring concrete. And really what had happened is I had provided them a packet of evidence and a flash drive that I believe could solve multiple murders, stop this crime ring, and then after I showed them where I believe the tunnels were, then all of a sudden 2 weeks later, here's what happened.
Send her to me, because my home is like right there. I mean, it's right there where them trees are. You can see the infamous trees. But anyways, while I'm here, I think I'll take a picture here. This is where they're doing the concrete work, and you can see them out there. There's the concrete truck. And see, I was just there 2 weeks ago with the Homeland Security agent showing them where I suspected the tunnel entrance.
And you know why? It's because I showed you that Google Earth picture, right? I mean, that's why I did, okay? And so And here's another video, this older video. This video shows the two side-by-side manholes in the missing tree in 2015, in July 2015. And I have another video that shows that tree was gone on May 1st, 2015. This tells me the live tree was removed sometime between October 2nd, 2014 and May 1st, 2015. That, I was using Google Earth to get my time frame of when that live tree was removed, but I have these videos to tell me that even a closer time frame between October and May. Okay, and so here I've got this video called "Is This a Sex Trafficking Tunnel?" which has had 24,000 views on YouTube, and I'm just going to show a part of that. I'm on the other side of the wall. See that gap where a tree's supposed to be?
Right here is, notice where that manhole is right there. There used to be another one right next to it. Maybe, I don't know where it's at. There was two side by side. I got pictures.
There it is.
I only see one. Oh, there is the second one right there. And the lid was off that one. You see how it's kind of off right there?
Yeah, the lid was off the west one. And remember, when you project out that tunnel, that's what it looked like it went to. Okay, and so we're going to keep on moving down. I said this was a picture that I provided Homeland Security and FBI last year on July 2nd. Homeland Security and I went behind Home Depot so I could show them where the suspected crime tunnels were located at. 2 weeks later, the ground was dug up at Congress Port. That's what I said a minute ago. And it's been suggested that was tampering with evidence. If they're trying to cover up them tunnels that have been used for multiple murders and the obstruction of justice and the capital murder attempt on my life, then that's obviously tampering with evidence and capital murders, attempted murder, etc. So here is a Google Earth picture again, and I'll show you how clear you can see where the ground's cut. See the different colors of the asphalt, and you just project that out, it goes directly at my house. And of course, here in the backyard's where it's believed this underground facility, one of the underground homes is at. Okay, and so I'll show you that. Next one, after being told there were 4 3-bedroom underground homes here, a woman tells me to go look up my address on Google Maps. It's 3802 Fair Circle, Midland, Texas. Maps.google.com. Anybody can go there. I see a large facility in my backyard on the map view, which can't be seen from the sat view or from above ground. I believe this is one of the 4 underground homes and where the famous oil show parties were held. Possibly where that young girl was murdered at, my friend told me about, in 2010, and the same girl, her remains are found in 2013, is what it's believed. So you just go put my address in, go to Google Maps, and on the map view, there's a large facility in my backyard, okay? This is my home. This is where I'm shot. Here's a facility in my backyard showed on the map view. But you click that button down there, go to the satellite view, and it's not there, okay? So from above ground, you can't see it. But when you're looking at the map view, it's there. And I think if they probably made a mistake or whatever, I believe that's one of the 4 3-bedroom $1 million underground homes that I was told about on a recorded phone call. And in addition, Layla Obrien said, I worked on that job. It's finished in 1987 and it cost $7.35 million. And I got a print screen of her telling me that. And here's my last one. This is an older sat view of this area, which shows what a perfect place the secluded trucking lane is if you wanted to use it for human trafficking, drug smuggling, or any other contraband that is headed or coming from Mexico, which is about 3 hours away. I-20 runs through Midland. So this is what I call the 50,000 foot view. Okay, and so you back off. If we zoomed in here, you could see my home and where I shot. Okay, right, and here's the cul-de-sac that I live in. Here's the alley behind my house. Here's the wall, and the tree's still there at this time. Secluded truck unloading lane, Home Depot store, large parking lot. Okay, we can all see that. But what I want to show you here, this is Midland Drive in Midland, and so you turn in here, okay, and then you have to turn again and come back here. So anybody driving down Midland can't see behind this store, okay? It's perfectly secluded. And then on the other side, you have to come up this way because it's blocked off with a fence and building and all that. So this is all secluded trucking lane behind my house, and that's where I was seeing the 24/7 trucker traffic. Trucks show up middle of the night, never unload freight, stay a little bit and leave. Lots of times I would hear people in the attic moving around, and then it'd get quiet, and then the truck would leave, and I'd hear them back in the attic. It was real clear the people in the attic were meeting the truckers back there, and this wasn't a one-time deal. It was over and over, day after day after day after day. Much of this stopped when they took out that live tree. But The point I'm making here is I-20 runs through Midland. We're only about 3 hours from Mexico, right? If you're running, say if you're running loads of meth into America, this seems like the perfect place, especially with underground facilities to store it at, okay? Or human trafficking, and that's what I've long believed. It's sex trafficking, human trafficking, etc. But it's more racketeering and organized crime. The other thing, I had a guy, I had a couple interesting things. One person told me that they thought it might have been connected with Iran-Contra. That was, with drug running to central Mexico from America, right? Because here we are, wouldn't it be perfect? Here we are right by the border, secluded trucking lane, etc., underground facility and all that. It was put in when Vice President Bush Sr. was the vice president, right? That's when all that was going on, And so that was suggested. I have no proof of that whatsoever. And then another person said, what if the missing 911 gold is down there, And I thought that was interesting because, I don't know if y'all know about the World Trade Center, that there's just billions of dollars of gold that was under it that went missing, right? And and so that was all that's a conspiracy theory. Well, whatever, it's still missing gold, And here, who was president? Bush Jr. was president, right? He just made it. Bush Jr.'s from Midland, Texas. I was told that the sister of one of his Secret Service agents lives across the street from my house, right? And he was an oil man here. He was a land man, right? Connected with, I would think he'd know something about oil show parties, right? And that would make sense. And so where would you store all that gold at? Well, truck that thing in a secluded trucking lane, take it underground. Nobody knows the difference. And that's all, that's just throwing ideas out there. What I know is somebody under my home shot me, and I wasn't shot with my gun. And then a dozen former secret police caught on camera covering it up. It took 6 years to get them identified, and it looks like they murdered the guy here before me. And then I was told about a young girl being murdered in 2010, and so this got to be investigated. It's got to be cleared out. We need to expose what's going on here. But anyway, Midland, Texas.